Good morning students, welcome to our fourth unit, that is planning. In our last video we have seen what are the limitations of planning, internal as well as external. But how do we do planning in the organization? That means I am telling you about the steps. So we will see today one by one the steps of planning process. Each and every organization planning is required. Each and every department planning is required. But how do they do this planning in the organization? There are 6 points which you have to keep in mind. So number one is setting objective. That means the first and the foremost step is deciding the organization's objective, which specify what the organization wants to achieve. That means similar way you as a student have to set your objective. What is the percentage you want to achieve in your 12th standard? Same way the organization have already set the standard, set the objective which they are going to achieve through planning. So the planning process begins with the identification and the setting of the objective. That means the planning will tell you and will inform you and guide you like where you are and where you want to go. So where to reach, this direction will be given only by planning. So planning will tell you your destination. So students, you have to do planning to achieve that particular target which you have decided your percentage. Similarly, organization will make a planning to achieve their profit. Now objective should be clear of all the departments, all the sections, all the units and even all the employees, because employees, department, everyone will work towards one objective of the organization. So department need to set their own objective like short term goal, and by achieving all these short term goals the organization will reach to its target. That is their setting goal, what goal they have set. The next comes developing premises. First you have to understand what is premises. Premises is very clearly said the assumptions. Whatever manager makes an assumption about the future and then do a planning, that assumption are called as premises. So before doing a planning, when you set a target, you also have to make a premises, because that is very important. So developing premises means planning is considered with a future which is uncertain. So you have to first develop the premises. Planning involves deciding in advance about the future course of action. So every manager has to make certain assumptions about the future. Okay, on the basis of this assumption the planning can be done. So that assumptions are called premises. Remember, this question was asked in board. What do you mean by the premises? Okay. So premises are the best material upon which the plans are drawn. Setting the target, objective and developing the premises. Start making plan. Okay. So this best material will definitely help you to focus, to forecast, and the existing plan will definitely help you. Making the planning more effective about thinking about future. So suppose if in an organization they think that there will be changes in the market, so planning will be done according to that. If competitor thinks about something and you think that my competitor is going to use this particular thing, so even you can make a planning according to that. If government changes the policy, you can make a changes in your policy. So policy, political changes, economical changes, social changes will definitely affect your plans. So you have to make a ready premises for it. The third step is identifying alternative course of action. You have various options. Okay, you have various options and you have to decide which is the best one. So first thing is you find out all the options which you have. Identify all the options. That means identify alternative course of action. Once the objective is decided, okay, you have set the standard. So the next step is to identify all the possible alternative course of actions. What alternatives we have and which is the best one. Okay, so that means assumption is done, everything is done, but you have to identify different ways to reach to that particular target. In every plan, everyone has a different options, but you have to find out the best fun for it. So for that, what you have to do, fourth step, you know what are the options. For example, you have 4 options. So now evaluate each and every option. Number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. Each alternate options have to be gone through, study it thoroughly, what positive and what negativity it had. Positive and negative aspects of each option, each alternative you have to find out. You have to evaluate. And then you have to think, yes, this one is the one alternative objective which gives me a best one, which gives me a very negative point and gives me more of the positive. And then you have to select that particular alternative. That is your fifth point. Selecting an alternative which gives you the most important thing, that is all positive point or very less negative points. So alternative to be selected should be most visible, should be profitable to you, and with a least negative points. So a combination of this plan will be best with the selection of the one best alternative course of action. Once you decide that this is my best alternative which I have to use, then is the time to start implementing the plan. Whatever it was on a paper, now you have to take an action on it. Okay, the step is to consider with putting the plan into action. It was on paper, now you have to start doing, because you already have decided your target, you already have made a premises, and you have selected the best alternative among various alternatives. So plans, whichever you have decided, now it's a time to put it into action. The next comes follow-up action. Once you implement it, after implementing, the last step in the plan is to follow up. Don't only do the planning and do an implementation, but also take a follow-up. That means to ensure the relevance and effectiveness. The plan must be constantly monitored, and in case of any deficiency, they should be modified or adjusted. That means you can make a changes in the plan if it is needed. So follow up is really required in planning, where you are wrong and where you have to adjust, where you have to modify, all this thing. So these are the 7 important points of planning, 7 important steps. Remember, this question is important from the point of view of board exam. Keep on learning and be connected to us. Thank you so much.